no sound and Zoom.
Oh, there's no sound on Zoom. No.
Now it's okay.
Okay. Should we the download the Sanjay Chuto? Chege. Sanjay Chuto.
Really?
Oh, okay. So we can do just the opening prayers on page 5 of the prayer book. Just refuge and bodhicitta.
I think you have both prayer.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, because you gave me yours. Here, I'll give it to you. And then, in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Sanje Chodan Soje Chon La Janja Barda Dane Japs Dage Jisoy Jimbe Sonanje Rola Penjere Sanje Rola.
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tanyambe Samjan Tamje Dewa Dante Jodan Demba Joy Dongwa Dong Dongwa Jodan Tawai Joy Dongwa Mebe Dewa Damandra Joy Nyeran Jadan Yindan Taw
Maybe we can do the request for teachings too on page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Samjin Namji Samba Tang Loye Jera Jeda Wai Jejan Tumon Te Wai Chujin Kolo Gordo. Thank you everyone for coming back. And yes, if you have any while resting and eating, maybe have any new thoughts. Yes.
I just have a historical question right now. Whether I know that the Dzogchen Tantras came into Tibet through Vimalamitra, right? Was it Vimalamitra? And that how disseminated were those Dzogchen teachings prior to Longchenpa? Or were they held by just one or two direct lineages, or this kind of thing, or were there a lot of Khenpos or scholars that had access to the teachings?
Dzogchen sayat be Khenpo hiore. Ti tola na dzogchen ki juba xiyang du gertong ti na nga tso ta tso lama som lama se ta nga tso lama se kura buk lusul lama bima la metras ena gurin bochi tani mbiro zana se ta na buk lo zawa tongma lo chen mbiro zana te som ni ma jubi halam dzogchen io marista sungdwa ti nome da zote bema la madani jubam bema la madra le dene tene lo zawa kawa bakse tang joro lu jan sens tene
Lotsawa Su?
kawa bakse
Kawa.
Part 6 tanda ji kieng do part 6 jogro lu jan sens do jogro
Choklo?
lu jan sen jogro
Ming rebe.
re
Louis Gelsen. De me kakani rebe.
re lozani
Lotsani.
tendel tan bemal meta mus hu tene kawa bakse ta jogro lu jan sen ni hu ne tanda dzogchen ki 맞죠. 결통체는 심대세야죠. 롱대세야죠. 맹학대세야죠. 가가솜라고 지체도 심대지. 결통체는 스미마브 좁지서 18 tantras, 21 tantras.
De simde nanga.
심대. 난 된다고
De
롱대
21 kare? Oh, the young
21
21?
texts. 21 texts. Then long de la yung long karpo nakpo chawasene long yung tene mambo.
Young kande?
Karpo nakpo chawas
Karpo?
nakpo.
Nakpo trawo?
Then mengak de la yung tene mambo yawari ina mengak de la chikur nangkur sangkur yangsang la na maybe course hiche andwa. And di nome tanda yangsang la na maybe course tila tanda ngaso nyingtek sekndwa. Tila zowo gyu chenpo gyu gyubduns tanda yawari. Tanda mambo yawari tata tamche mbemala medala tene tene kawa bakse tan joro lu jan sanyi jor te mayimba la tanda nyang tingzi sambos yung lozawa yimba la lama yimba chipu lama
Di mayimpa ki su?
nyang
Yam.
tingzi sambo tingenzi sambo tendel tene dorna dzogchen ki ju ta samji me chapa jor shawar te jik nga tsu tendel jik bogi nangla dui tobu ga ma ta te jorwa te chusang te chenji ka jor shawar tendel hi gorwa tendel ngor rambo che ge yang jor shawar tang tendel ter tu pe shawar ta changka me ba pe mambo yores tendel mbiro zanane ju dewa te la mbiro nienju sana tende yung mbiro koroni judewa tende
Pero ningju?
dzogchen jetong kahan ro chi na tende song ro chi so tende mbima limrani juba tala mong che kama song ro terma mayim ngoro rinpo chen judewa soma terma ro tende mbiro ni judewa ta terma mayim pa yung kama yimba ta tende
So, bero yang kama.
yes. 근데 가간다고 전화 텐데 요래.
So in general, so the kind of the streams of Dzogchen are very extensive and vast, but mainly we can kind of trace it back to three particular masters, you know, who are kind of like the original holders of the various Dzogchen lineages. So that is Vimalamitra, Guru Rinpoche, and Berotsana. And so these, apart from these three, there isn't, you know, these are really kind of where the Dzogchen traditions originate from, these three streams. And mainly, there were two translators who were responsible for translating most of the works of Vimalamitra, being Lotsawa Kawapartsek and Lotsawa Choglo Louis Galtsen. And then, so we have also the categories that originate from this Vimalamitra tradition. So it was the translators who kind of put them into these sections of Simde, or mind category, Long Day or expanse category, and Mengak Day or like pith instruction category. And so the Simde, for instance, consists of the 18 or 21 tantras. And the Long Day has the categories of Karpo, Nakpo, and Trawo. So like, I'm guessing that's white, black, and subtle? Or no, rainbow.
Rainbow or mixed.
Mixed. And then the category of pith instructions, or Mengakde, is divided, consists of the categories of the Chikor, or outer, kind of like outer sphere, the Nangkor, or inner sphere, the Sangkor, secret sphere, and the Yangsang Lanamepe Kor, which is the like utterly secret, unsurpassed sphere. And the Nyingtik, the like 7 kind of collections of the Nyingtik, belong to the category of Yangsang Lanamepe Kor, or the extremely secret, unsurpassed sphere. And so we have then basically is the source Vimalamitra, and then due to the works of these two translators. And then there's also then the Nyam Tingsin Zangpo Losawarebe. Another translator, Nyam Tingsin Zangpo. And he also translated a lot of the Dzogchen Tantras. And this all happened like around the time of King Trisong Detsen. It was when these sort of originated. And then at the same time, we have also, of course, you know, that which comes from Guru Rinpoche, which is mostly then became concealed in the form of termas. Also, many works of Guru Rinpoche, or much of Guru Rinpoche's teachings, which are also translated and then also sealed, many that were sealed as termas. And then Berotsana, from Berotsana, you have the Bero Ningyu, like the essence, the Bero essence lineage. And so mainly Vimalamitra is the works of Vimalamitra are Kama, or kind of the oral teachings. Guru Rinpoche is mainly obviously Dharma, or the treasure teachings, and Berotsana is also mainly Kama, or oral teachings.
If you have book page 139, we have here this Kyuyingzo, or the precious treasury of Dharmadhatu, so important or so precious that Longchenpa's kind of condensed or distilled these whole categories of Dzogchen teaching. Here, sitting it down and setting it down accord with the 21 transmission of the category of mind. That's what we are talking about. The 18 or 21 mind categories. And then the 3 sections of the categories of expense, which is the long day, the white, black, and mixed. And then the 4 sections of category of direct transmission, which is Mengak De, and 4 are the what I mentioned, that the outer, inner, secret, and unsurpassed secret cycles. So these during the text is, or this essence of teachings of these Dzogchen Tantras condensed in here. So that's the earliest sort of history in the Dzogchen history, 8th century through. And today, so the Mengak De se he yondu today, so jubdun se jubdun se de, tanda Mengak De jubdun te. Then jubdun te. Bemalamedi your Bemalamedata Yang Ting Zisombo, your yondu, the Nitika so the King Chazon de Chen, lie non yo marisel, best sabohures, Sabtani King Jerbo lion non yo maris, the Bemalamedam Yang Ting Zisombo, Mato. Beniti Naya Marsina, Tetanda Chai Lakans, Yang Tingzi Sombo, Xingwei, Lakanji, Tinangla, there to be Havaris. And yes, and Turap Jupe non Tavatane.
Turap Jupe.
Dangma Sunji Jansen said,
Su?
Dangma Sunji Jansen.
Kungi Johnson.
And there to name June and Tanda. What's up? Singa Wang Chooks, Jitsun Singa Wang Chooks, that the Jitsuning tooks here and what?
Jitsun Singa Wang Choo.
The name Konamba
Jitsuning Dick. Jitsuning Dick, Lavian, Sungin Bay.
Koni Juyon, the Jitsuning text here and what? The Jitsun Singa Wang Chooks. And the name are June to that Jubi long chamber part.
Jurab Gare?
Jubi long chamber. The Jew Devatella Bemaning text in
So they chudun sungdu they chubdun marewa. 7, not 17.
17.
17. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay. I heard 7 dharmas. Yeah. So then, sorry. So that was a mistake. The Mengakde consists of 17, right, or 17 sections.
At least 17 tantras. If we talk about in a pit instruction series or the unsurpassed pit instruction series, we have Jude and the Mengak.
So there's the two tantra and pith instructions.
Yeah. So tantras are the 17 tantras.
17 tantras, yeah.
The Mengaks are the Bimanyingte.
And the pith instructions are Bimanitik.
Yeah.
And so then Vimalamitra and Yam Tingzin Zangbo. So at the time of like these, particularly this category of pith instructions, is that right? Was so kind of profound that even it was difficult, like even not even the king could
give to the king.
They weren't even given to the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
there's 2 stories. Some stories say only king and these 2 get the teaching, but others say even king didn't get that teaching.
Okay, so two variations there. And in one of them, it was actually that it was then concealed as a terma. This in the, which lakang?
Xiai lakang, xias, not so. Cat, no.
The temple of the cap,
Yeah.
of the hat. And so it was then, so it was hidden there, and then during this 10th century, it was revealed by Tangthung Gyaltsen,
No. Tangma Lunji Jansen.
Tangma
Tangma.
Lungi Gyaltsen, who was a Terton, and then it was gradually disseminated or practiced in stages.
They think Dharma is the first Terton in Tibet.
And then Singye Wangchu, Jetsun Singye Wangchu became the main practitioner of these, right? Or
Yes, he's the lineage holder.
The lineage
after
holder.
Dharma.
After Tangma. And so then there was like the collection of teachings based on this. It became the Jetsun Nyingtik, being, the lineage holder of that being Jetsun Singye Wangchu. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, in the 14th century, we have Longchenpa, and then from that, the arising of his collection of the Bima Nyingtig.
I didn't mention between these Jetsun Singye Wangchu to Longchenpa, there is more lineage holders, of course. And then also at the same time, third Karma Rangjung Dorji was the lineage holder of this Bima Nyingtik. So the Longchenpa and the third Karma Rangjung Dorji were the main lineage holder of the
Bima
Nyingtik. Tenin Gurun Bochin Juyong Atela, so Derma Manches Nata, Tomate, Dermaro, Tindu. Gurun Boche Tam Bima Lamerani, that kind of lobdor in the classmate. The Hindu Gurun Boche Tam Bima Lamerani Gage Lamate Shirisinghas. And then Gurun Boche, Tanda Bima Lameragi, Zonsate Jalbo Tang. Tene taking court Namazon. And Guru Rinpoche, Zungsate, Yishin Sojartan. Tendre Indu. Tene Guru Rinpoche, Yishin Sojala, Zonch, and Yishin Sojar, there to pay in it, that the Mamancheta. Tendre that's Chumar. The Dini Latine, Tanying take Kerton, Mani Sendo, Zawando, Ni, Amani, Teres.
Amani, the Guru Dam Bima. And so then you have, of course, most of the Dzogchen instructions that come from Guru Rinpoche, which mainly appear or have appeared in the form of termas, or hidden treasures. And Vimalamitra and Guru Rinpoche were peers. They were kind of contemporaries. And Guru Rinpoche also, together with Shri Singha, so Shri Singha, Tiki Korla Yapokoma Song
Shri Singha te Guru Rinpoche tang Vimalamitra Nying Lamat.
Oh, right, sorry. So Guru Rinpoche and Vimalamitra both shared a common teacher who was Shri Singha. And so Guru Rinpoche mainly gave his instructions at the time during his life were mainly practiced by his inner circle. So like the king and kind of like the retinue. Oh, Vimalamitra, okay.
Guru Rinpoche Mount Yeshi
Terma.
Soja.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it was mainly Vimalamitra. His instructions were mainly practiced by the inner circle of the king, and for Guru Rinpoche, his instructions were mainly imparted to Yeshi Tsogyal, and then together they concealed those teachings as termas that then were later discovered or later revealed. But these are really considered to be the streams that are like the two mothers of Dzogchen, being, the tradition of Vimalamitra and Guru Rinpoche, the termas of Guru Rinpoche.
Teneda Turab Jebane Jubi Parda Guru Rinpoche ni Juhawatela Konorang Jibur Mato Nyamdus Jete Shirachayo Samar, Bemal Madani Jubatela, Bemaning text. Guru Rinpoche in Jude, and Kandro Yishin Sojan, Jude, but then Kandro Yingtex and Yingtek Yingtek, Tendis Shagda, Tanda Long Champa Matoki Pardola, Jubanda, Kakani Shagar.
Longchenpa Bardu. And so from about the 8th century to the 14th century, there were really just these two, the Vima Nyingtek and the Khandro Nyingtek, coming, from Khandro Nyingtek because of the role of Yeshi Tsogyal, so coming from Guru Rinpoche and Yeshi Tsogyal. And then there was, of course, it was primarily until Longchenpa, just these two. Rebe.
Bero Yingtex and Bero Nyenju Yorova, Yin and Bero Nyenju Dinon Sor. That's all main. So on roads in the Nishang.
Okay.
Not on Beroning and Beronian Yorova.
So there was the Beroning take, but it was mainly, it was these two that were most kind of well known, or yeah.
Then Tanda Chashawayana Bima Yingting Dawina. 4 volumes. Khandro Nyingtek 2 or 3 volumes that you were done so Pechayo Maramato Pechayana. Kirton tell a long chamber, Tene, Mani Getola, Punis and Tene Lama Yang Texan Bemaning take.
So Mani Latine Buni.
Puni, long chamber, Conry Rongi, Samshavatella. Puni Singwa. Bemaning takes Bimalamitra Lama Bimalamitra serva. Teni Jude Vatella Lama Yang Texan. Zan. Tening Khandro Yishin Sojan Jude and Guru Rinpoche Jude Vatan Khandro Ying Tex serva. Tella Khandro Yang Texan, it's on the Tene Mani the Puni Zambatella. Tene Tanda Ying Tek Ya, she said. Det så som många konstårer. Ljugkonståren och ljusen att han 1700-talet år.
And so the Vima Nyingtek consists of 4 volumes, whereas the Khandro Nyingtek consists of 2 or 3 volumes. And then with Longchenpa, so what happened is mainly these cycles, these 2 sort of collections or cycles, the Vima Nyingtek and the Khandro Nyingtek, kind of being known as the 2 mothers, kind of the 2 Dzogchen mothers. Then with the works of Longchenpa, then they were kind of divided into the 2 mothers and the 2 sons. The 2 sons being what then was the elaborations of Longchenpa based on those 2. So actually the 2 being, so first for the category, the mother category of the Vimaningtik, or the works of Vimalamitra, since Vimalamitra is the Lama, then there came the Lama Yangtik, the Longchenpa, the Lama Yangtik, Somyorowa. So he composed the Lama Yangtik, and then from the Khandro Nyingtik, then he composed the Khandro Yangtik. So from that, then you have kind of the origination of the Nyingtik Yabji. And these fall into the category of the Mingak, like the Pith instructions, not the Tantras. The Tantras are really just consisting of the 17 root Tantras or Dzogchen Tantras.
Tene tadung yangchur ju rao nyingbo rao dune tsam shakwa tela samo yangtek sere. Samo yangtek. Utterly profound pet instruction, maybe, yeah. Tenri chi ne da durna pode tsoma tsor dumba yena this mandawa yongdo yena kashi nonglo chukji yongdo kashi nonglo chuksom yongdo yena
Kashe Chubji?
11 or 13
or 13.
Depend on how they divide, but the content is the same.
So then there's the additional sort of the essence, the Ju Ningpo, the Zamo, so the Ju Ningpo.
The essence of those four volumes, four parts. Yeah.
As the Zamo Yangtik.
Yeah.
Or the profound, what did you say? How did you translate that? Zamo Yangtik?
Somewhat utterly profound.
Utmost, you did say utmost.
Most. Essence?
Essence, yeah,
essence,
maybe
yeah.
heart essence. And so then all of these volumes, it depends on how they're divided, either 11 or 13, depending on how the categories are determined.
Yeah. So that much we need to learn, and I hope you have time to
read it all.
And almost very little available in English, English language, these texts, these 13 volumes, maybe few parts, and there's only one tantra that I another professor, James Gentry, translate. We translate that, but still not published yet. So, and then maybe others, few practices are there, and then of course we know these Chunying Zoyas belong to the 7 treasuries. He wrote another category, and then we have another Longchenpa's famous collections, and these days some publishers publish in a book form. There's 26 volumes, Longchenpa's writings, including these Bima Nyingtik and Khandro Nyingtik. The rest are his own writing, but these two, the mothers are not his own writing, but he's included in his writing.
And his cycles.
Yes. That is important to know. It often says the history, telling the history, what is history, and knowing this is somehow give us confidence and increase our devotion.
And I would say increases our appreciation, sort of like just how extensive and vast.
Yeah, just on that note, Malcolm Smith is trying to translate the Logyu Chenmo, but he says it's very difficult for him. So, do you mind if I go through the presentation you just gave and see if I've understood it correctly? Because I'm doing this for the transcript too.
That's so funny. I was just thinking maybe James can make a diagram of this.
I can do it quickly.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, good.
So we have Mind Series, Expanse Series, Pith Instruction Series. Pith Instruction has 4 series, Outer, Inner Secret, and Unsurpassed. Everything we're talking about is in that 4th category for the Nyingtig, correct?
Yeah, Nyingtig is equate to the very last one.
And so the Nyingtig Yabji is the fourfold heart essence, which has 2 collections from Vimalamitra and Guru Rinpoche.
One each.
Right.
Yeah.
That are not his Longchenpa's compositions. Those were just texts he collected.
Yeah.
And then it has 2 collections of texts that he himself composed, the Lama Yangtig and the Khandro Yangtig. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then there's one more,
Samayante.
right, which is an essential distillation of those 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah, send that out.
Okay.
And this is all, so the 17 tantras is part of the Vima Nyingtig?
It's sometimes we caught up in these terms yet.
It's attributed to the Buddha, no? Or no?
No, it's Bima Nyingtik. There is one famous writer, Tibetan famous writer and practitioner, writes there's, when you say Bima Nyingtik, it's a little bit different than the lineages, the teaching transmissions that come through Vimalamitra is different. So these 17 Tantra can treat as the teaching transmissions that comes down from Vimalamitra, but not Bima Nyingtik.
Okay, so the Vima Nyingtig is a separate collection of some texts that
But
was put
since
together.
Bima Nyingtik is more Jude and Mengak. Jude means the Buddha's on watch, means the Sanjiti Kasa.
The words of the Buddha. That's the Tantra. Yeah.
Bima Nyingtik, Sena, Bima Nyingtik Nala, Tanda, Jagargi, Garab Dorje, Manjushri Mitra, Jana Sutra, Shri Simha, Bimala Mitra, Guru Rinpoche, Konambi Trishawa Yore, Poge Nala, Jetsun Singa Wangcho, Shantong Trashi Dorje.
Wait, Jetsun Singye Wangcho. It's Su?
Shantong Trashi Dorje.
Shangtong Tashi Dorje.
Even third karma Parangjung Dorje's text in there. So which means Poki Tende Labdu Tene Tanda Mengak Sayate Jinjuki Lama Trivatop Deva Nambege Ju Hakoya Chit Zam Shabatala Tene Mengak Sendo Hakoya Te Indu Jagargi Bendom Namji Zam Shaba Puji Keba Namji Zam Shaba Keba Trivatova Namji Zam Shaba Durna Longchenpa Matok Jiparta Yudu Tela Bima Nyingtik Segusaro Mato Ju Konom Bimalani Ju Deva Mato Bima Nyingtik Rang Segusamare
Wait, you got it, Lavian?
Bimalani Juba Sengdo.
So Juba.
Comes the teaching transmission comes down from Bimalamitra,
Yeah,
but
not-
not Bima Nyingtik.
Got it. So then you have the so the Vima Nyingtik consists of actually all of the sort of pith instructions that are based on the tantras, the 17 tantras that are from all of the masters of India, like Garab Dorje, Manjushri Mitra,
Yeah.
Jana
Sutra.
Sutra, Shri Singhe and Singha and Guru Rinpoche, and then as well as many of the great Tibetan masters, such as Jetsun Singhe Wangchuk, Shangtong Trashi Dorje, and even the third Karmapa Rangjung Dorje. And so what this is all of these collected instructions, pith instructions, as almost like commentary, but more like based on the tantras. So it's like the pith instructions of all the masters that are kind of part of that Vimalamitra lineage, all the way until Longchenpa. So that's. Is that clear? Yeah. That's
And
fine?
I said that's clear.
Oh, okay. It's like, fine's not enough.
Yeah.
And then just to wrap this up, then Longchenpa's 7 treasuries are also as mainly explaining the 17 tantras. Is that correct? I know some of them don't, but
Not necessarily. Longchenpa's 17 treasuries are some are just in general Buddhist doctrine, philosophy, especially the Chumtanzo, yeah.
treasury of tenets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But particularly Kyuyingzo, Tsigdunzo, and Tingchonzo, Nelungzo, these are more Dzogchen oriented. Kyuyingzo, Tsigdunzo, Tingchonzo, and Nelungzo.
So dini ditsogare?
They Dzogchen.
So then those that are concerned with Dzogchen are also the Tsikdunzo, or the treasury of like
Words and meanings.
Words and meanings.
and then of course the Chuyingzo, the treasury of the basic space of phenomena. Tingcho Zo, how would you translate Tingcho?
Supreme vehicle.
Supreme of the Tikcho, the treasury of the supreme vehicle, and the treasury of the innate nature, or of nature.
Abiding reality.
Abiding reality.
But which is published in English as the treasury of suchness, which most translators disagree with.
So those are, and
yeah, that would probably be the treasury of the way of abiding, right?
Yeah.
Nelogso.
yeah. So we can learn more on this. I'm an expert on this.
You are. We are really lucky.
So, and also, my dissertation is on this history, doxography, and so others. Maybe will my dissertation come out? We see. History is very important. That's sure, for sure. And yeah, that's good. Now we have full history, but don't confuse with these early, before 14th century Nyingte with Longchen Nyingte. Longchen Nyingte is Yingme Lingpa's treasury that he meet Longchenpa in a vision 3 times, and he got teachings. But the Longchen Nyingte itself, or the sadhanas and all others are, we know, 18th century Yingme Lingpa's tertiary vision and Taknang texts.
So it seems like across the board that all of what we know as Ngondro is a very recent development, considering in terms of the practices.
And the famous Longchen Nyingte Ngondro is more Yingme Lingpa's student compiled, based on, I mean, everything's Longchenpa's writings, but these later sadhanas writings at that time they saw the relevance of what necessary to that time the audience, and we can see the early Longchenpa's writings and these 13-volume what we call this Nyingtek Yahi, but for part of Nyingteks, there's very little sadhana and more or teachings rather than sadhanas. Yeah.
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm sorry, I did not remember. Oh, okay. Okay. In English, okay. So we have, so one on top of the other, is that right?
Yeah, the first one came from the last session, and the second question was from just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Oh, okay. So from the previous session, diríamos entonces que la visión es la comprensión de la naturaleza pura. So we could say that the vision, this is the part that I'm not so clear about, is the understanding of the pure nature. Is that, would you say that's how? Or comprehension. La cual se logra mediante la meditación y nuestra conducta a realizarla. I'm not sure what's meant by the vision because we didn't talk about, oh, maybe it's the view. It must be the view. Okay, so the view is the comprehension or understanding of the pure nature. So I'm going to do it in part by part. You understand that? So first, the tawa, the penanelu nampardapa ha kone, tene tawa reve. Tawa di reve.
Tawa sidu ngaso pug ke la tawa sendo. Tawa sidu churung ki samsol khandi ji seven ro. Churung samna di kam de coffee symptom reve sina reason ichi battle. Wrong color ichi battle. Assertion almost. Tene karse ke tokba sidu tawa tokba sarwa. The tokba sidu realizing or to realize or realization that objects is tawa. Tena to poki labdu tawa toks. Teindu tawa chigo lau chawaina the tokba te lebu yomare. Tawa te toko guyore. Tawa tokba ina tene neluk hakobare. Tawa chigo labit labatamje ga tok se te lebu mendo.
Okay, so he's making this distinction. So how we say tawa, which is view, in Tibetan, it's kind of like like the same as an opinion, kind of like samsu.
Yeah, samsu, yes.
Yeah, which I would say is like a way of thinking or even opinion, like view. If we think of view in terms of like I have a particular view on this or that.
Exactly.
So. But here, what is meant, and so the tawa or the view is referring to how one sees, and then the confidence that is sort of the belief in that. But then there's realizing the view. So the view, the correct view, is what is to be realized. So in this case, it's like the view is the object that is realized. So it's not just the view, because the view has to be realized. If the view isn't realized, then there isn't necessarily this understanding of the pure nature. So the pure nature, yes, actually it's exactly what's said here in Spanish, is the realization of the pure nature. So we could
ទី
say
តវតុកបាល់
tawatokpa. It's the realization of that view. So it's so diríamos entonces que la visión es la comprehensión de la naturaleza pura. I mean, that sounds to me like what he was saying. But what
think
am I? How am I
here-
backward? Is it backwards?
Here it seems Tawa itself contains the realization, but Tawa itself doesn't contain the realization. Tawa is what you believe. In order to, if we believe all phenomena are empty, what Madhyamikas would say, that what we believe, that's the view. But we need to realize that that actual reality, whether that is real empty or not. Yeah.
And then what is the meaning? Oh no, but then it says, so, la cual se logra meditante la meditación y nuestra conducta a realizarlo. That we arrive at through the meditation, this realization, right? And in our conduct to realize it. So dini di penate tawa toya gichidu dini. So it's sort of, again, this seems like it's actually backwards. Like, so the gom gyatne dini tawa togere, or the gom gyatne dang dina di chupa chini, chupa latene de la lepsi gere. But di kala nune chini dang po tawa to dini gom gyat marebe.
Tok se tenga zo yung kwaya chimbo dwa. Tok se du ha kwaya tala tok se guna conceptually understanding also tok se dwa. Directly encounter what reveal that tok se dwa. Etine chuji ying tang nin su meba chor songwa talang tok sing do. Yor jen meba. Tok songwa, ni me tun re songwa tala tok sing do. Ting du tok saya tala yung koba mombo chi yo bari. Ting du conceptually understanding or realizing is more as a view rather than
So again, with this sort of realization or understanding, there's kind of this difference between conceptually understanding and like direct, an understanding that comes from like being, that nature being directly revealed to you.
experience.
Or experienced. And so there's this sort of conceptual understanding based on like the Dharmadhatu being the object, the one who realizes that as the subject. But in the direct realization, there's not a distinction. These two kind of become a non-duality, or no? The nimegi dun.
Ngone tawa to songina tene nimet churgo.
So to really realize the view, then non-duality, that is an experience that is non-dual.
당가서 적hen기 값서 kirton ha kowa zamji tawa to segum. Conceptually understanding is not considered as realization. Tene musum to talk wasendo.
No, kung pache tenda ha goyagi chidu kechatigyo sarawa. Penati pache tenda ti. I think it sounds like, so he was wondering if the question was asking about direct realization. Can somebody else translate it from Spanish? I'm finding it very difficult. Yeah.
It might be just a comment more than a question.
Okay. Okay.
The second question is similar to what I was gonna ask too, about this word positive in the text, like what is the meaning in Tibetan? And I think that's what the second question is. What is the meaning of?
That's coming.
Oh, okay.
Gundu Sangbo, I think.
I see. Yeah. And
The translation here is Gundu Sangbo, Samantabhadra, used as, I think, ever positive, wholly positive. That is used.
Damon, you're about to
I don't
lose
know
batteries.
if everyone's familiar with Samantabhadra, then it's better to use maybe Samantabhadra or Gundu Sangbo if you are familiar with the Tibetan. It is difficult to translate these. I saw different translations, all good or ever positive. What do you have?
No, I've looked at a lot of translations and read a lot of commentary, but I think in English, wholly positive is probably one of the best we can have.
all good, man. All good.
There's a sense in which it's whole and complete, which all doesn't really give you.
Yeah, just positive. Is really positive, or just positive, negative, positive, and
So that's the issue he takes, is that it's kind of.
yeah.
So
it's
because
not
also
only negating.
Zangpo, and it's interesting because I actually, in general, have a hard time because I think even in a very casual way, when someone says describing someone like, oh, the be zangpo re, be zangmo re,
Yeah.
it like sometimes that's used to explain kind of somebody's good-heartedness or good nature, and it's like a really sweet term in Tibetan, and when you it's so hard to translate exactly into English. So it seems, yeah, that it has like some
For me, it's
wholesome
positive
in it.
is not strong enough to talk about sangbo. You know?
Yeah.
Positive, negative, the opposite of negative is a little bit. Tibetan have sangbo and ngenpa, but sangbo and ngenpa is not fully positive and negative kind of dichotomy. Anyway, that's if you have a sense of what Gundu Sangpo mean, or Samantabhadra, or wholly positive, then it's fine. I think it's very, I don't know, it's whatever you take, it's fine. But Tibetan, and another term is this Gundu. Gundu is almost like everywhere and anytime, kind of.
Ever and always.
Yeah. That seems like. And it appears we have this king of aspiration, yeah, that's mainly Gundu Sangpo's prayer. And we already, I think, discussed, now I don't remember, but there's levels of Gundu Sangpos also. The Bodhisattva Gundu Sangpo is mentioned in King of Prayer, and then we have the Dzogchen, the primordial Buddha, which is Gundu Sangpo, and then, of course, there's Gundu Sangmo. Also, there's a famous tantra. It's called, I think, Blazing Lamb, or anyway, Gundu Sangmo tantra. That very long tantra in the Dzogchen Yingtik
Gundu
tradition.
Sangmo,
Yeah, Gundu Sangmo
the
tantra.
Samantabhadri,
Yeah,
like the
Bhadri.
female or feminine Samantabhadra.
And then these particular, here is not, this Gundu Sangpo used as a term, not particularly proper name, but this is just describing the qualities of the phenomena, yeah? Okay, then we read what Gundu Sangpo says here. Gundu Sangpo, what we can translate, maybe you can help. Yene lunje drobe yin den kurwa gun song nyang de ba song gun song na kun de ne me no gun song dong ba gun de gun song na no tong yene me jie xie gun song de gun de song gun song na de jie xie Dāk yin gāng zāng, dāk jī gāng dā zōng, gāng zōng lōng nā, dāk yin jī, dāk jī mi.
So where does this end at the very bottom? Yeah, okay.
I think there's a little bit of gap, so some, if you can find.
Within this ultimate womb of basic space, timelessly and spontaneously present, samsara is wholly positive, nirvana is wholly positive, or is positive. And within the wholly positive expanse, samsara and nirvana have never existed. Sensory appearances are wholly positive, emptiness is positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, appearances and emptiness have never existed. Birth and death are wholly positive. Happiness and suffering are positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, birth, death, happiness, and suffering have never existed. Self and other are wholly positive. Affirmation and negation are positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, self, other, affirmation, and negation have never existed.
Mm-hmm. How about excellent is better than positive, or it doesn't really matter?
I mean, it means pure, right? I mean, in this case?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pure in nature. Everything, there is nothing that's not.
What
Goodness
difference between
or
excellent
purity.
or?
Excellent.
Excellence still has counterparts like positive and negative.
Well, and not only that, it's sort of like
Doesn't really give
feeling.
positive.
It's kind of like, it's like too much. Excellent is a little bit too much. It doesn't get to like the basic essence. Does that
So
make
here
sense?
is also talking about you don't need to change anything, already fully mature.
Oh, perfected. So you
Yeah.
were going for excellence because of meaning like sort of the perfected
Yeah.
nature, essence.
So up to you, how much you want to take from here. Samsara is okay positive, or wholly positive, or completely positive, or nothing but positive, or we can take many levels. Okay. Yeah, here, if you read Longchenpa's commentary, there's 5 or 6 Kunda Sangpos, they all dharmas are. Maybe someone can read if you want, but I don't have the commentary. The five excellences, or dharmas are 5 excellences. That do you have? Quite beginning, I think. Yeah, when you find it, then maybe we can do. Anyway.
5 perfections? Teacher teaching like that?
No. Kunda Sangpo. Or dharmas are 5 Kunda Sangpos. Yeah. 5 or 6 now, I don't remember. Anyway, yen lunji chobi yingrum there. Yen lunji choba de xie tanda xie chuji yin choben ta tam je tan choba de la. Yen lunji choba.
Logyobe? No. Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yen lunji chobe ying sendo. The Rom said not so poor looks well Rom said I make it chugo Rom like nyar yore said Rom said inner sanction, 这种的。这趟老年这还能找着，我在想的呢。第一个是周边他们觉得这吧，轮机周边，秋季因地囊头，这能可把噻，就都不是绑下呀，就那两个人对吧噻，浪下呀，没吧，可把这样跟着上吧，他接着上吧。两个人对吧？谁还听？他这个上不？提印度，可把谁还在把榜样没把两个人对吧？谁还说老么个吧？提你看的，那样的意思。
So as it says, within this ultimate womb of basic space, so the word room is what is translated here as womb, and that's kind of what it's referring to, like the inner, kind of it is literally a word for womb, like a mother's womb when she bears a child, and it's like the inner sanctum of, kind of this basic space that is timelessly and spontaneously present. So within that, then this ground, this spontaneously present ground or a basic space is wholly positive, like within that samsara is wholly positive, or kuntu zangpo, and nirvana is wholly positive, meaning that there is not, there's this equality, it isn't like samsara is to be abandoned, rejected, or discarded, and nirvana is to be accomplished, achieved, or taken up. Because within the wholly positive expanse, samsara and nirvana have never existed.
The womb here, Tibetan room, maybe we. When I say room, but you maybe heard English womb.
Well, it's translated as womb.
I know.
But I heard you say amitugu. Yeah.
Yeah, the chubas, yeah. We
Oh,
wear
chuba.
No,
I saw you said.
Wait.
Yeah.
Chuba.
Okay. Yeah.
Chuba has room. It's a pouch.
Ah, it's a pouch.
It's called
okay.
room.
I see.
So mothers put chuku inside the chuba between her
I see.
her skin and chuba. That's called room. It's not a womb. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I heard you say something about nya. I see. Okay. Yeah. So not a good translation.
Do they understand? Maybe in English.
Did you get that? So what is the word that's translated as womb? Actually is a word that means pouch. And it's referring to the pouch that a mother, when there's a small baby, a small child, she keeps her infant in this pouch in her dress, in her chuba.
Not to make it sound silly, but maybe almost like a kangaroo pouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. But there's not a separate pouch. The Tibetan wear chuba. Chuba has this, do you know?
It itself is a pouch.
Yeah, self.
It creates a pouch-like
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's called room. Yeah.
But it doesn't sound quite as nice to say within the pouch.
The ultimate pouch.
It's kind of cute though.
Yeah. So anyway, room and womb are same sounds. English and Tibetan. Tibetan is room and English is womb, so similar. I'm just thinking maybe sometimes people, I say room, but you hear womb, so
Could be.
without
Yeah.
translation.
That's right.
Directly.
One of the alternates, this pathway, it says womb-like spaciousness.
Yeah, what does it mean in this kind room de la gidunda yore?
Means inside
Within it.
comfort zone. Yeah. But womb is a little bit different. A womb is not maybe somehow the embryonics are grow, but it's not fully formed. Yeah. Once you have infants, you have wholly pressed present person sounds difficult to say when P and R together for me.
What is the word?
Person.
Person.
Yeah. Now, too much debate these days. Maybe we going too far to saying pro-life or pro-choice kind of things. I'm saying that womb itself is still there is room for maturation, but once you put your infant in a pouch, it's sort of
It's already fully developed.
Yes.
So you're saying that there's kind of an important distinction here in this context.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, kundu sangbo. So now you don't need to develop limbs and
Yeah, that's true, because womb of basic space sounds embryonic, that it's like,
still need to develop. So that's why its choice here could be. This morning I was mentioning that every word has very important, but sometimes we need to easy on the terms, but since here choice of room is important, maybe could be.
I think I found what you were asking after. Are you talking about like what Kuzuzanko at the end? Kuzuzanko, the 5 aspects of Kuzuzanko?
What?
Earlier you asked for the 5 Samantabhadras. I think I found what you're looking for if you want me to read it.
Yes.
So this is from the commentary on our text. You may wonder, is homage paid solely to Samantabhadra? No, for homage is also paid to all that aids beings in fathoming the subject matter of this work and that abides as the 5 aspects of Samantabhadra. Samantabhadra as teacher.
No, not that one. Or dharmas are need to know as 5 Samantabhadras, not the qualities of Samantabhadra.
no.
Well, it says all aspects of ground, path, and fruition.
No,
No.
not that one.
Okay.
I'm sure.
You'd have to find it in Tibetan anyway.
The Kundu Sangpo has qualities, 6 qualities. Yeah. Not talking about Kundu Sangpo's quality, talking about this cup is Kundu Sangpo rather than Kundu Sangpo's quality. Or dharmas are phenomena or whatever he used as Kundu Sangpo's. Yeah. Kunzong long enemy. So this long we also long so and the long said the ying said the room said so long Kundu Sangpo ge long na and kurva said and young and deva said yen duman in the trauma bris karsana Kundu Sangpo said Mazangba chik jong mewa. Tsoma sangbo yin ba ti nang tu kurwa saya jik tukbo chik ta nyangan deba saya. Sangbo chik yene trauma nyong maris. Te xin dung kurwa dang nyangan deba sa nga tsu nam chi xe didu yung na kurwa nyangan deba sa. Yung na nongwa, tongba. Yung na jewa tang xiwa la so pando na ni chu saya jiyo.
Gary Chiwad.
jewa tang xiwa. Tendri ni ye ya yubi chuji yorwa. Pena nimo tang cemo se yan rawa. Chiso tam che de gunzong ge long na. Yewa zani meba. Tsoma sangbo resi. Ta tsoma sangbo resi di yung nga tso lo ge da xa gu ge sangbo de resi ge marwa. Lo lindebi ge sangbo de resi. Ta di yindu ngazo hakoya che to yang sombo de nganpa ni bo yewa chewa ina sombo so ya de megi dam gerwa de chi ya ware ma to je zong sombo ki yo den sa yo de se yo ma.
And so it says, so these words, like expanse, space, what's translated here is womb. So these are similar in meaning within the ultimate womb of basic space, the expanse. So within this holy positive expanse, samsara and nirvana never existed. So there's no, you can't say that samsara is kind of negative and nirvana is positive. They become kind of an indivisibility that has never really existed as duality. And so therefore all these dualities sort of fall apart, like samsara, nirvana, appearance, emptiness, birth and death. So all of these kind of typical juxtapositions based on duality become the nature of non-duality, and within that they are wholly positive, like all sort of forms of duality, day and night, etc. Within the expanse of Samantabhadra, or the all positive expanse, there is no separation. They are all pure. They are all wholly good or wholly positive. However, this positive is not like a conceptual version of positive. It's not positive in the sense of like something is positive, in relation to something else that is negative. It is beyond it is speaking to kind of an absolute goodness or purity or positivity that is beyond the intellect. So this is a type of kind of this goodness or positivity that is not a positivity that is one that is based on kind of judgment or intellectual understanding.
당가서 음안이 송대 추탐지 다음에 바래 세니 영원의 송된도나 지구접도 도담서야 돼 가가매봐 기관인바 하고고로 되는 아기값 닭바다 냠바세니 시성 되는데 단도나 성보지 써야지다 야보지 지샤지다 냠바세니 두고 지샤 다 팀메바데 하고바들더니 하고밤 제일 이치바들더니 따왔어 다티 튼데 똑바이나 되는 도자시동 때문에 아주 작동라서 봐 단도나 더가 더좀 강이나 대충 거는 더 그래서 그래서 뭐라
Dunga dangari.
거는 더 그래서 매바서 더 그래서
And so, this, within kind of the understanding of this non-dual pure essence or nature that sort of transcends the duality of the relative and the absolute, understanding that they're not different, but they are actually, of one nature, one and the same, and all designations of like good and bad, pure and impure, positive and negative. Whereas, for instance, ordinarily within kind of a conceptual framework, we think, oh, something is positive, and so therefore whatever is negative becomes bad. There's a negative which is in juxtaposition to the positive. But when then this understanding that kind of transcends these dualistic extremes of the wholly positive is there, then there's kind of that confidence, that belief, that trust in the view, and within that kind of confidence of what that view is, once that meaning is understood or realized, then one can subdue or pacify the 5 poisons and so forth, or one can kind of, bring them under control.
Tene he dana dak xian dak qi se ne tan de so tan che de dana rong lu ge par zhuo da xia ge re tene nang ba sang ji bi chu ji ta nyam len chi wei na lo zhong chi wei na gang ge gap se na tan de to li yin ji mi ni lo che zhem che ne da xian da qi se de so chob yu me kan ris lu ge par da yu me ta de so ko lo zhong che de so ko la tene ha ko wa che ne ten to to ba che ge lo ba da de de yin du de so yo ma re song ta tene di ji la ren bi yin de tene ma lo ya
So gong ta de dang bu de la da shin tam che
da xian da qi no de no
ale.
the last line.
Oh, okay. So then self and other, our wholly positive affirmation and negation are positive. Within the wholly positive expanse, self, other, affirmation, and negation have never existed. So dini di pena nang ba sanji chu nyamling lobjong kala di gong ta ikare sungi.
Ta lo jong chi vi gap so da se ya de kan ri xian se ya de kan ri da chi se ya kan ri ndo na da de xian se ya de yo re de ma re se ne da chi chi ne ne pa lo zhuo da xia wa yin ba ten ri ha ko song wa yin na ne te la den chi ne ha ko wa ti to le ne nyam len chi ne ndo na da yin da chi se ya de me ba ha ko ya de nomba sanji bi nyamneng zo terwa.
And so this is sort of referring to, for instance, also in the context of studying the Buddha's teachings, studying and practicing in such a way that, one is kind of investigating, what is the nature of self, what is the nature of other. And so there's this examination that then leads to this understanding of the selfless nature of the self or the individual, the selfless nature of phenomena, and then that kind of understanding or realization of this absolute meaning or the true meaning is kind of developed, progressively. Dini dang chikpa draw re sungyo re or kare.
Ta nyamneng zo le ya de di ha ko ya thang di ha ko ne tene thön to to ba ina ta nyamneng ma cha go ba.
And so this is what these studies are really leading to, is kind of this experience and realization, mainly this kind of, understanding that is, also kind of what is the essence here that is being referred to. So that that is the ultimate kind of result that is being, that all of the different kind of pathways are leading to.
Tene ta xian ta chi me ba ina kan re se ne jeng ta lan ro tel me la yo ban zhen bin chu ba de me ma lang da ri rong yi la gun de rong zen yin ban za re nyam dang xian tam ji gun zong lun zhe jian bo yin man zhe men zhe zhe wa men ju re ziba men zang yu min ta len de.
So there's the next verse then, which is, labeling takes place in confusion, for what is non-existent is taken to exist, given that the nature of things is similar to that of dream images, which have no basis. How exceedingly strange it is to fixate on samsara and nirvana as though they existed in their own right.
Next one. Next.
The next one, okay. Oh, did we do both of these? I thought this was together, that one, because this looks so short in Tibetan. Everything is wholly positive, a supreme state of spontaneous presence. Since there never has been confusion, is no confusion, and never will be confusion. Conditioned existence is merely a label. Yes.
And this was Lamsong Semlanja Kovale, Tene, Tawa Lamsong to Matonayam. Tanduna Paturmuji Zong Yawatanil Signa, this one Dong Devayana, Namju Yamlenkin Dong Devayana. Tene Sem knowledge on Jachene. The Hilambla Tangent, Tene Tawat Toyong Grace, some of the thing. Ta kunzong na chu tamji hime zadar kundu sombu rangyi
Ji.
hime zacha
Sada.
kundu sombu rangyi yina yang meba tala nga tsoge tenen trubi wangi yobran zingi yores kanrinda wo chagurasana hietan tsawa dene meba nga tso nidi du mulam seki yongdwa wo tetang kibare so kurbik zawat yena yang nga tso ge tel par hien che chakwe wange tenin kurwa sa ya de na nyangelen je ba sa chi monin dok sam hien chat hyok chen bo chan de de ngon te trop de son chagweres
And so there is understanding that can kind of be developed just in reading these words, even if it isn't like a complete kind of realization of the view. There is some kind of, as Patrul Rinpoche has said, that if you read these words, recite them, and kind of hold them in your mind, that eventually understanding, the view will be understood, that understanding will arise. So here, what is being said is essentially all phenomena are without foundation, without root, and that they are all the nature of the holy, or they are all wholly positive in nature. And so it is understanding that their lack of real existence, then we know that under the sway of delusion, we attribute existence to them because of fixation. But then even when there's understanding of their kind of rootless nature, their lack of basis, then they still appear. Appearances appear, but like in a dreamlike nature, as dreams or illusions. And so this, when not recognizing that dreamlike nature, then it becomes this experience of samsara that is based on having too much fixation, or kind of because the attachment and kind of fixation is very strong, then like samsara appears to be real and nirvana appears to be real. We think that that these two are kind of possess real nature.
Here, Longchenpa, how exceedingly strange it is.
Yeah.
So, Longchenpa used this kind of word in Chuyingzu to ease our thoughts and our fixations a little bit less fixation, less fixated kind of. It sometimes helps. Tibetan is entirety is strange, or this kind of
Kinsawochi.
yeah. But I think at least samsara is not really solidly founded, but we still need to take a break.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. This here, this only show myself to me. Is that purpose or?
Oh, yeah, it's on, it's because he can't see the other people because it's on. And
Okay. So anyway, take a break and then if you have time, come back. If not, then similar verses are coming. So it's not fully important to go through fast, but it's rather slow down and understand what verses are saying. Any change. You can read backward or forward, it doesn't really matter. There's not much linear progression or anything. It's a nice book that you can read between or middle of somewhere, or any verse you can start to reading. Yeah.
there's not a linear progression. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And
What time would you like to come back and
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
These
5:30 with Amy, Emily. It'd be good if you could make it, just as initial, even if it's like a short one. Sure. But I'm glad we were doing this. She wrote up, she said some women, so I don't know. Lincoln was supposed to come, but he's in Kentucky, but she wrote up like a charter or whatever, or like at least like a statement. So maybe we can just review the statement, come up with some like preliminary objectives, and then just take it from there. You busy or?
No, I'm just kind of.
That shipping house sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But okay, well,
But we'll make it.
yeah, thank you. Would you like water, or are you okay?
There is water on the, there is.
Oh.
From the morning,
It is, it's in that, but
Do you have anything
is it marvelous?
yeah.
That big book, right?
What are you talking about?
No, it's not. Who is it?
I got
Yeah,
all the water.
Very puppy.
Sweet.
That's fair, yeah.
The little puppy eyes.
Well, they're sweet, but nice.
Well, right.
At least she lives.
That other is absorption.
She's pretty sweet for her.
Okay.
She's totally processed.
That's good, she's a little positive, yeah.
Well, they'll see. Yes.
Were you gonna ask?
No, I was just asking about, there's that marvelous, that big thick book, that
Marvelous Garland of Rare Gems.
Marvelous Garland of Rare Gems has a lot of history, right?
Yes, that one.
But it's hard to negotiate.
We're just talking about putting a chart together that shows
Marvelous Garland is
Neosho Khenpo.
mainly the Yingtic lineage.
Right.
That's good. There's another book, Dwindling, which is Nyingma history.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about, but that's not particularly Yingtic, but more.
How did the third Karmapa get
Oh, no, no, the Longchenpas,
Uh-huh.
Dzogchen, the one he spent 3 years with.
Wrong Dorji. Do you mean Longchenpas Lama? Kumara.
What lineage was he? Is the question.
What?
Was he Karmakagi? That's the question.
No, I don't think so. But he may have some teachings from Kamikaze, but it's not his holy karma.
I'm gonna need references before I go against Khenpo.
No, I think it is again, I mean,
Okay, what book is that?
this is the, commentary. Yeah, so this is the.
Treasure Trove.
Treasure Trove.
Yeah.
So, and I think if you go to, and I'm not gonna, I just think that's, I'm pretty sure it's in this book, that's the end of the histories.
There was a period of time where the Nina lineage was under duress. And a lot of the major lineage holders had to go to Bhutan, and I'm pretty sure that's around the time when the third Karmapa kind of served as a bridge to the next lineage holder, and that's probably where he comes into this.
So, why did Richard Barron quit on all of this? What happened?
Because he's old and his health is failing.
Oh, is that right?
He's still working on it.
Wow.
That's a rumor. I don't know directly.
Amazing. How old is he?
I don't know. Quite up there. This doesn't say what his lineage was, but Kumaraja was also one of the main features of the third Karmapa, so that's
Oh, wow. There you go.
This is the Treasury of Life says Kumaraja was Nimna and Patru Kagi, which is no longer an extended lineage of the
Yeah, you could.
His main teacher was Meilong Dorje. He was in Bhutan for a long time. He spent several years at Surfu. That gives him a direct Karmakagi connection.
Oh, yeah, was the precept for.
He trained with Kumaraja spent several years in Surfu where he trained with the Karmakagi lamas Yanrei and Dharmadhatu. He also studied with Orgimpa and met the newly enthroned third Karmapa Ram Dorje in Dindi. Then went back to Meilong Dorje. So it looks like he's a Nima who has studied with the Karmakagis. He lived to be 78. Had a bunch of relics.
Treasure of Life.
Yeah, it's a pretty reliable scholarship. Generally speaking, a lot of these are drawn from the major centers in Virginia, Wisconsin.
So you mentioned that Malcolm was working on another volume.
No, he's working on the Logi Chema, which is the history of the transmission.
Okay.
And there's one for every series, mind, expanse, and fifth instruction.
Okay.
But it's not,
It's all going to be collected together.
he read us about 90% of his translation during the Buddha's life.
Right. Oh,
He wants to publish, but it's a challenging text to translate.
yeah. And so.
Names and places.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets confusing. So, let's see, what is he working on, what's his next
completing a course online with Wisdom Academy called 10 Dzogchen Terms. Okay. So it's just a course teaching Dzogchen terminology like we're struggling with here. And but his primary work, he's going to have an in-person retreat in Michigan on the Shetson Music. I can afford to go to that, right? But primarily he's working on translating 17 languages. I don't know what's going to be next. Yeah. He's published 4 so far. Yeah. And his translations are putting what's out there to shame. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go lay my head down for 10 minutes. Yeah. I hope that I drift off to sleep and come back refreshed.
Yeah, that often it can happen even if you don't.
Even just 5 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
76 is the I'm good, I think. I'm drinking cold coffee.
Oh, that doesn't sound very nice. Do you want a new one?
No,
Are you sure?
did you make?
I have, no, I don't. This one I brought, but I've been drinking out of it.
No, you drink.
But we can get, I don't know if there's any left. Do you want me to go see? I can go see.
Okay.
Yeah. And if not, I'll bring you tea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, in this heart, we still need to spend 1 more hour, okay?
That's great.
Or good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fact that the ground possesses the enlightened intent, right?
Mhm.
We sometimes call it that, right?
Yeah.
The enlightened intent. But can it, all phenomena then really as an expression of, what is the path to awakening or something, right? Yeah.
Yes. Not only sentience, but non-sentience too, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 more hour.
1 more hour. I think people online are really happy though.
Good.
That they can see, or you can see them. And is that okay for you? It's good, right?
Oh yes, that's good. Do they hear?
They can hear you. It's 26 right now. That's pretty good.
What?
No, she was asking how many, I think. Huh? Yeah.
Still hanging around?
Yeah. Well, more online than in person.
What question?
No, just how many people.
Khenpo, this list of the 6 qualities of phenomena you were looking for, is that in the auto commentary?
Yes.
It is.
I think maybe I didn't hear what you are reading, and maybe I'm responding too fast. Maybe that what you are talking is, that is, I think.
No, well, this is,
Please read thoroughly then.
well, hold on, let's just confirm I'm talking about.
Sometimes English switches the what should comes
Right.
after comes first, and then.
So, Dorje's making you coffee.
Okay, while readjusting ourselves here, anything online? People from online have the same.
This lists 5. Let's just confirm we're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
the
fine.
correct 5.
Yeah.
Tompa Kuntuzanko, Yen Kuntuzanko, Rikpa Kuntuzanko, Topa Kuntuzanko, and Lam Kuntuzanko.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Not the 6 qualities of Kuntu Sangpo.
Kuntu Zangpo as 6 things.
Well, I think it's
Right.
I think it's
Or
5.
5.
Sangpo has 6 qualities.
Kuntu Zangpo as
No.
6, not
Has.
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 You're saying yes, it should be like that or not?
No, I'm no. Sorry, here Gundu Songbo as adjective to talk about 5 things. But I'm saying there is another passage that talks about Gundu Songbo
His 5
has
qualities.
6 qualities. that alleviates from the ground. Different. Yeah, please.
My computer's taking a break.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
That's fine. Your computer,
It needs some coffee.
I'm sure, but precious. Meanwhile,
I'll get into it as soon as I can.
oh,
I have cold water coffee already.
for the computer. Oh, no. I think
It's
I
coming.
will get a hot coffee.
Sorry, I didn't bother you.
No, he's make jokes that his computer need coffee. That's unnecessary, I think. Anyway, while you are searching, we can hear if anyone has very important comment or question, we can go first and then.
Also, I would just like to say for whoever's question it was that I was trying to translate from Spanish, I feel a little bit like I didn't, yeah.
No, when Zoli looked at it, he said it wasn't exactly for yours.
Oh, okay, all right.
There, okay. Damien? Okay, we are looking at the auto commentary of Longchenpa's text, and there will you hear one of our sanghas reading here, so you can mention your name maybe.
It's James. This is on page.
Is James something to do with Gundu Songbo and what James mean?
It's a good question. Well, I looked up the etymology of the name while you.
Yeah.
Thankfully not on camera. This is in the auto commentary called A Treasure Trove of Scriptural Instructions on page 7, and it follows the homage. It's the commentary on the homage. You may wonder, is homage paid solely to Samantabhadra? No, for homage is also paid to all that aids beings in fathoming the subject matter of this work, and that abides as the 5 aspects of Samantabhadra. That is, to all Buddhas who have awakened to Buddhahood within the essence of Samantabhadra, as well as to all aspects of ground, path, and fruition. So the first is Samantabhadra as teacher, is the fact that all Buddhas, while abiding as Sambhogakaya and Dharmakaya in Akanishta, the pinnacle pure realm, ensure benefit by sending forth emanations to all realms of those to be guided. Samantabhadra as ground is the true nature of all phenomena, suchness itself. This is called Samantabhadra as nature. Samantabhadra as adornment is the manifestation of all phenomena, that is, the natural arising of the display of objects in the phenomenal world. This constitutes all that is completely pure, in that its nature is illusory. Samantabhadra as awareness is naturally occurring timeless awareness, Buddha nature. The Uttara Tantra speaks of this in the following passage. Because the kaya of perfect Buddhahood is pervasive, because of the undifferentiated state of suchness, and because of the birthright of all beings, they are forever endowed with Buddha nature. Samantabhadra as realization is the fundamentally unconditioned way of abiding. This constitutes the discovery of the vision of liberation that comes through complete realization. It is called Samantabhadra as path.
So two of those
Nice.
seem very similar, right?
Wait for the mic.
me, two of those things seem very. Oh, there it is. Two of those aspects seem very similar to me. The ground, right, and then what was the third one?
You have teacher,
Teacher.
nature,
Okay, that's the ground, right?
ornament,
And the fourth one?
my computer's still left.
Buddha nature, yeah. So nature and Buddha nature, I guess.
You mean the ground and Buddha nature?
Ground and Buddha nature, that
Yes,
seems similar, right?
Yes, it's very similar. And also, Dzogchen tanda He tang Buddha natures tanda Tathagata Karaba Dehi Nyingpo sero. Teni la Dzogchen tanda Nyingte Dzogchen ti gabs Chebar Xiao tu He sayade Tangbo Churwa tang Churwa Nying Togmaam He
Chuwa dang,
Chulwa
chuwe ni.
Nyingi Hiam Togmatala Segorwa Buddha nature Yana Sanji Dehi Nyingbo sayade Simchen nam Chor Tsarwi Jela Simchen ji Ju le Yubi Sanji ji Nyingbo Am Devar Hikbi Nyingbo tela Buddha natures Tenil Chibar Shana Tenri Shagayor Karesana Tanga so Mombo Shina Yung Gonyobore Mato Dzogchengi Chi Gnala Tanda Dechen Gyugjik Shangto 11 topics. 11 topic Gnala Tanda Tangbo ti Shirwa. Tangbo ti Karesana Tangbo ti Churwa dan Churwas Ninga Nyungsa ki Hitri.
Chuwa dang chuwa ke? Got it?
Churwa dang Churwa.
Oh, dang jowa.
Simchen nam Hili
Je
Chur
de
Yongwa.
jungsa. Jungsa. So
Simchen nam
chuwa dang jowa nigi jungsa jire.
Simchen nam Hili Churwa. Hitigwa, Lamnirwa. The Lamni ji Gabso Churwig Lamjik, the Churwig Lamni Yorwa. Then Churwig Lamla Danny, Drivni Chuman, Drivni Simchen Dang Sanjis, Drivni Chumanwa. Drivni Chungwi Gabso Simchen Gijula Simchen Nam Churware, Korwalan Chambare, Ina Tadong Simchen Gijula, they were keeping but yours and Tur Yangcho Turyagi, Hiam Zawa, the yours at the they were keeping boss. Then Cheber Shadut and the Shagar. In a term Momala, Chebers Shagayamara.
Okay, so so this difference between Dzogchen, like the ground, and Dzogchen and Buddha nature. So in the Nyingtik, like in the context of the Nyingtik, there first, so the ground is that from which delusion and liberation both arise. Delusion and liberation, is that what you said? Or did you say Chul Nang Chul Ning?
Chulwa Tang Chulwa.
Chulwa Nang Chulwa. Or? Just that. And then Buddha nature being, so it's this primordial ground from which delusion and liberation arise. And Buddha nature is, sort of once sentient beings have become deluded, the essence of their mind stream is the Buddha nature, like there is the Buddha nature as the very essence of their mind stream. So if we get into it too much, it can become a little bit convoluted and confusing, but you can think of it like this way. So in the 11 categories of Dzogchen, there's, what's that? Topics, yes. So there's the ground. So the ground is the basis from which delusion and liberation both arise. And the
maybe you can say that's the first topic.
That's the first topic, yes. And so sentient beings become deluded from within the ground, or from the ground, there is that delusion. Just as it says, there's a single ground, yet two paths and two fruitions. And so once they're the two paths and the two fruitions are, the two paths and the two fruitions are essentially that of either delusion or liberation. And the delusion actually has, so within delusion we have the fruitions. It sounds like truwa nangla debuni simjin dang sanje. Truwa nangla.
Sorry,
De truwa nangla simjin dang sanje.
Tor simbik avstanda 당보te tanda 11 topics, 당보te toma 흉사티가. 흉사대 족행기 시스탄데 시스를 가서 족행기 시드. tin kurwa yang mari nyangel de ba yang mari. Titanda hijik hibi tönderwa hila jing ma to yo maris. Jing ma to medu kurwa da nyangel de ba ni hiya yo marwa. Hile lam ni chane kurwa dang kurwa ni chungwa kurwa ni kurwa lam dang kurwa lam. 요나 촌촌니서 요나 똑바동 마토바니 흉마로 또 마토발 때는 크로아스 차 똑발 때는 상지스 차버려 다 상지도 상지 심바래 이나요 심견서였던 크로발은 참 되요래 다 매번 크로발은 참야래 송지야요래서 취베이나 그 양초 상지야요래서 가르세나 심신기 줄라 대버시군님 보여레스 단다 당보때 초픽 당보때 시치 님바든 추와 간디 심신남 간디진 초리요레스 숨바들 심신남 초르도 요레잖아 대다기 줄라 대버시군님 보여레스 초픽 숨바드 제지 대식님보다 third topic 근데 인도 대니를 쳐봐요. 대신님보다 섬견다 송진님이 출바 작시 시트 말을 세고.
주당 주.
존존이 시 말했어.
So yes, so there's the ground. And so maybe starting over because that's what he did. So we have in the 11 topics, the first is the ground. This is the Dzogchen ground. This is talking about the ground that is neither samsara nor nirvana. But it is a single ground. Before there's two paths and two fruitions. But then you have, from the single ground, there are two paths and there are two fruitions. The path of delusion, the path of liberation, or we can say realization or not lack of realization. Realization being Buddhahood, lack of realization then being the experience of sentient beings wandering in samsara. However, once one is a sentient being wandering in samsara, then that is, I'm sorry, because
If someone asks,
Di yang nipa rewa truwa is
Really?
nipa. So this is the second category, or the second topic is delusion, the nature of delusion. So that gets into the two paths and the two fruitions. The third topic is Buddha nature, because once there is the path of delusion and one becomes a sentient being, there is still the Buddha nature as the essence of their being, of their awareness. And so therefore there is the potential to become a Buddha. Having been deluded, one can become a Buddha, because why? Because of the Buddha nature. But that Buddha nature as potentiality is not the same as the ground, the Dzogchen ground. Does that make sense?
다 희도 텐데 희고 그래서 이나 등 오마라 나서 잠노 거지 그니 저와 몸부 담아이나 등 오마라 대월식 비닝 보세요 당 독전 신이라 치바요 같아 샤토비야 깔을 거버스 이나요 희비 값서 독전이 희서야 돼 상지 말이라 섬체 말이스 이나 대월식 비닝 보세요 돼 나도다 상지 너나 상지 요단 당댐비 추지를 서로
Sanjay Gari?
요단 당댐바
Yodin Dangdimba?
it is endowed with the qualities of Buddha.
Okay.
대월식 비닝보
So when you kind of really get into what kind of the ultimate essence of, both of these, the Dzogchen ground and the Buddha nature, Tathagata ground, then you can't quite, there also, in a sense, there isn't a difference. But the way to hear that the difference is being presented is that, so for instance, the Dzogchen ground, within the Dzogchen ground, there's neither Buddhas nor sentient beings. But with the Buddha nature, there is the existence of Buddha nature as the ground of sentient beings, or within the minds of sentient beings, which is endowed with all the qualities of Buddhahood.
So both are called the ground of original purity.
Stop.
very important subject.
Okay, so both are called the ground of original purity, but there's this adventitious ability for dimmed awareness presencing from the ground, the Dzogchen ground, and that once realization, and so Kutan Zampo never strayed from the ground. So once recognized, there's sounds like a pure essence of the of the original purity, in the sense that the adventitious tendency for dimmed awareness no longer is part of it. No?
When seems for the purpose of clarity, maybe we don't use both our primordially pure ground. At least Dzogchen ground is almost nothing to do with samsara and nirvana. Samsara, nirvana is byproduct of, or at least emerge from the Dzogchen primordial ground. But Buddha nature, even temporal, linear time, the Buddha nature is rise later, after the confusion.
After confusion. So if you're saying Buddha nature, you're already indicating the presence of delusion.
Yeah, the one ground there is time and space not started yet. That is Dzogchen ground. But once you have two paths and two free, even on the two paths already separated, samsara and nirvana, no longer contained in the ground. So sometimes we call ground presencing or ground emerging or whatever we call that. It's so the purpose of clarity of the terms how we use Buddha nature is not ground.
Okay. So once you have realization, do you?
No, stop. Sorry, you keep forgetting the mic.
Just live.
So once one has realization, is one returned to a timeless realm again? That's something beyond time, but it's there's an inability for confusion once awakening has occurred, right? There's an inability for the presencing of confusion.
Yeah.
But it's still a return to a nameless, formless, timeless realm, if you will. Okay.
So the 11th topic, the 11,
the 11th
is the talk about the returning
to the ground.
To the ground. Yeah. That is the
So
final.
can you still designate fruitional Buddhism as returning to the ground?
Yes, that's the purpose here. It's Dzogchen sometimes used as this. The time is not linear succession. It's just almost like circular motion. That where you start, either you need to go back there, or you never leave from there. So either way is fine. So universe is not expanding anymore.
And every sentient being eventually has that return, fruition. Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
They all enter
They all
Buddha
have
nature.
return ticket.
Right, return ticket.
Either want to use
to
or
Buddha.
not.
Yeah. So I can go to sleep now.
In the Dzogchen system, you cannot buy one-way ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They don't sell one-way ticket.
Right.
They sell
Lovely. Very nice.
two-way ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depend on how much money you have. Yeah. So that is a very important concept because the liberation is not really what you do too much, but more how you look at things rather than, because nothing solely exists and nothing chu jik jang burna mus tromeva indu then korwa saya te there's 양보 라고 지자는 거 양보 세나 테사 그토보 마임바 근데 들어와서야 돼요지 레라고 차야 다 되게 길통 아주 추 드롭해야 돼 삼모 방탕지로 대인도 다 삼모 해당탕 티 추탐빈도 많이 맞아봐 임바하코네 근데 추탐지 좀마도 말람다 임바하코서나 그 텔레토비게 추드롭 탕지요로 영어 추탐지 잔택단 덴비고네 톱지가 요르사야지 무스톱 유jen사야지 무스톱 텐데 차드나요 그 텔레토비게 드롭 탕지 마도 then Malam the Jumata or Tani, Drubiak, Ati Chajan, Sen, Kokate, Ragayomara.
So because, in a way, because this, from the perspective of this view, there is no thing whatsoever that has really existed in any way. And so, and as, really at the most fundamental level of like samsara versus nirvana, or delusion versus the lack thereof, then in a way, this kind of makes everything lighter. Like liberation doesn't seem, the delusion of samsara becomes much lighter, and the prospect of liberation is not so daunting, because based on this sort of understanding or contemplation of how things exist, or in fact don't actually exist, that from the very beginning or primordially nothing ever really existed, and so therefore all this arising phenomena, or all that arises from the ground is like dreams and illusions, and there's no real objects, there's no real kind of substantial nature to any object that appears, then the matter of liberation becomes sort of much more momentary, and much more much lighter, much less daunting than that order.
Karsi Chu say at the Mopo Santric Yanji Trop Diana, Tim Mebas Chayala, then young Mopo, Santric Yanji Gora, not so Nambu. Jack and the Sudu, Towa the Gamba say at the Rokogua, Timina, Lamson Marshall and the Hondo Yoma.
Yabokuma song, Jungobo.
Chu said, Riora, Mopo said, Chago, Hingra, Janga, Chadiana. Then he in a sockless, Trasig Gogua, Sogle Hakoro.
Soglesana?
What we call sockless source. Yeah,
Saw. Okay.
Hinglin Chakwaji, Hing Hyokogro, Hing Tjigogro. Tinang Hi Jack Rawina, then it Toa and Gambas and
Compass and nail.
Nail Maris. Gambas and clutch.
What?
Clutch. What they call clutch?
Plier? Yeah. Pliers.
So like a clamp?
Yeah, clamp.
Okay.
Yes, clamp. Towasana, hammer. The male jam don't go do. Kali jam don't go do. Tomato lamson. Mar with on the senate. Mar thing not so. Mar.
Easy to cut through.
Shoya lela yoro. Tino shoyamano. Tida. Mopo say at the Kasig Zantric Yanji, Sumwa, Tard, Tilla Nyamboji Tango Yona, Teta telling Takach Tango. The Inditene, as a Namju, T. Coat Male, but Chutamji, Tame Baton, Tomba in Batan, Jumata Malamta in Bahamagona. They could tell it too big in Nyamboteon. Hukemboji Kogoro, Chakoji. Chutamji Jumada Melamda Yimbaha Kosona, tell it to be young. Konyambo ten haunted Zantric Janjik, Antes and the Kavgama so.
Sang Yabokog.
Antes, solidification, I think. Then they go your marwa. That's about the Zokshin Gabzina, Chutamji Kushene. Sharion, Hilla, Temdo, Hilly Sharvine come now. Hilly Danny, yo medicine, the yo medicine. Astray, not astray from the ground. Yeah. Today, Kowa laps on, Tene, got you dropped on that. This Lela Watan, Tarwase Ateon. Mopo drop Devaji. top goya mewa. Tende kowa chenpo lebi ala pendo chenpo yosara yes.
So if we, for instance, if we take phenomena to be real and solid, so the example that is given here, that Khenpo is giving, is that, even though this is in terms of how we relate to Dharma and the concept of liberation and all of that, it's like if we have, if for instance, we have to build a table or something or make something real out of solid materials, we have to like saw through the wood, and it's like this sort of substantial process of needing the proper tools. Same with like metal smithing, you need like the clamp, and you need to like put it in the fire, and only then it becomes workable. It's like a very sort of arduous process to work with the materials of phenomena, whether it be like wood, whether it be metal. And so in the same way, it's not easy to cut through, for instance. It really takes like a lot of effort and a lot of sort of force. And so same way, when we have these really sort of this relationship with samsara and nirvana, or liberation, that is sort of grasping at some sort of concept of like true existence there, that doesn't realize the dreamlike nature or the primordial purity from the ground, that there was never any wavering from the ground, then the whole process of liberation becomes very arduous. It's like, we have to, there's this kind of definitive like purity side or positive, but like the positive side and the negative side, and we have to apply the appropriate antidotes, and all of that. This is sort of within the context of this strong sort of fixation to true existence, not realizing the nature of selflessness, not realizing the illusory dreamlike nature of all phenomena, of all that appears and exists. And so because of this constant habit of solidification, then the path becomes very drawn out and there's a lot of effort or labor involved, and heavy reliance on antidote. Whereas when there's this understanding of kind of the Dzogchen ground, that everything is arisen from the ground, this primordial ground that has never actually, that is not the nature of samsara or nirvana, and that, that phenomena has never really existed in the first place, and that, liberation is not actually a real thing to achieve, then, and that actually there's never been any wavering from the ground, then there's great benefit in this understanding.
Now, what do we do? Tanduna Dzogchen ke kapsu korwa sayate churwa tsamchirwa. Churwa tsamchi mato tuen le drop deva mevate hakoya kichenbo. Deyong ji churwa sayate yong ji chok hian ji dang sacha hian hian yong ma yinba rang ki tanda sem teni chungwa yinba dang. Sem tala par dani zi ji xiawa yina ko hime zara yinba hako soma yina.
Jine.
Hime zara state puki teni rao cha nogdwa.
Yeah.
Injikil kana hime zara. Groundless, rootless. Tendri hako soma yina. O dan churwa saya temindo wa. Yini mindo sama che sem la teni powa lebyong. Powa tang teni jingwa po kanda kanga yina donglan che ko na ya tes le lawa na wachi. Chagwe sare.
Gare le la.
Donglan sena.
Tonglin?
Donglan sena, if you come some obstacles, you need to.
Oh, Dangdu Limba. Dogo? No.
Not tang to len, but dong to len. Dong len tolerates or anything obstacles comes to you or come to you, you can tolerate.
So that's why it's so important to understand, that samsara is merely delusion, that there isn't any real meaning there, that it doesn't really exist, and that it's arisen from the mind, that this is all just a display that is arisen from the mind, and that is without any ground, without any root. It has no basis, it has no root. And then there dawns this understanding, there isn't actually anything called delusion, that there isn't actually delusion there, and that from the basis, it is not there. And so therefore, we can, with that understanding too, we can tolerate, whatever it is that arises, any obstacles, any of these kind of like challenges and difficulties, understanding that nature, that baseless, rootless nature of samsara or delusion.
Donglen is Tibetan. It's a little bit different than tolerate. How to say Donglen? Anything, Donglen.
Sometimes, I thought it's not Tong Du Limpa.
No, it's anything comes, you can, not against, but it's more, can fight.
Oh.
Dong to len.
I remember somebody saying this. Yeah, like it's stronger than tolerate, kind of.
It also have opposite force to fight it. Because sometimes we are vulnerable for everything here, even Florida sun and rain and.
Is it the same as Tongzin? Tongzin?
No, Donglen is you can do any harsh works to do things also. At the same time, you can tolerate.
You can endure or.
Yeah. And in the Gundu Songbo Molam, it says, Zisom Yig Yongang Cha Me Ya.
Even if the three worlds were to be destroyed, there is no fear.
Almost like a collapse. Or
even if the three worlds collapse, there is no fear.
You are still sort of no worries.
Because you're abiding within the ground.
Yeah,
and
exactly. You never
the three worlds
away
are the
from
ground.
that ground, yeah. So the ground is the comfort zone.
Can you use the library for that term?
What?
Can you spell the library for that term?
Donglin.
G-G-O-N. No, G-D-O-N-G. Len.
Lana Len. La. Dringbu Yurube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, L-E-N.
No. Without Dringbu.
Maybe L-A-N.
Maybe you spelled wrong first one.
G-D-O-N-G.
No, G-T, right? T or G? D.
D, face.
D.
Dong means face.
Oh, okay.
Len means you can.
G-D-O-N.
Yeah.
No G.
No, G is first.
No.
No.
G should have GD.
Yes, G-D-O-N. G-D-O-N.
No suffix G.
No, prefix G. I think, is there G on the N?
When he first spelled it, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
None of those permutations work. It's fine. We shouldn't delay.
So Zoldi has a question, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Zoldi was asking if it is not a state. Is it a state of It is not a state of resignation, but a state of recognition.
Oh, I lost it. Sorry, it went away.
Oh.
So it's Dong Lin is going forward, be in the vanguard, lead, for, face, encounter, resistance, scout, confrontation. Yeah, resistance might
Maybe
be.
resistance.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the English and Tibetan sometimes.
Sounds like no matter what comes your way, you can handle it.
Exactly, yeah, that's tolerate is the other one. Tolerate is too stupid.
No, too
Oh.
I think it doesn't have the right sense.
Okay, yes,
It's a
what,
little too passive.
okay.
So he asked, is it? It is not a state of resignation, but recognition.
Resignation,
Yeah.
recognition,
No, resignation means like giving up.
Sort of like, yeah.
yeah.
Like,
And so he's saying, yeah, so he said not like giving up, but recognizing.
Yeah, that's good. So far, it's good. But sometimes in this particular Chunyingzu text, it's not recognition is also unnecessary.
Even recognition is unnecessary.
Yeah, everything's going to sambo. What do we need to do?
Nothing need be done.
Yeah, but that is another.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, not
Right?
there yet.
Also-based vehicles are gonna freak out.
Yeah. So here we have this Tamchi Kunzang Sundrup Chenpo Naman. Now, I read this rest of this verse. Today we've stopped this chapter, at least. At least we will know that where we need to
Where we
come back
left off.
next
So that was-
session. But you can, here is not that difficult to understand, but it's more different angle to look at what's true, what the confusion is and what is samsara. Should be treated kindly or roughly, or is the mainly samsara is your own image, and if you treat very harshly, it doesn't
The yellow flies.
getting prettier, getting more uglier, I guess.
Uglier, getting uglier. If you treat it ugly, it's going to get
Yeah.
uglier.
Yeah, it's especially modern days, they call, or the treatments and others can make look younger, yeah. Doesn't mean you are younger or prettier.
Wait, say that again? Oh, you
Make
mean
it-
like the treatments?
Yeah.
Like the treatments that people do, like plastic surgery and
Yes,
stuff?
yeah. They say you will, it will make you look 10 years younger. It's already put, they don't want to take face value, yeah, it's saying looks 10 years younger. You cannot make 10 years younger, yeah. So, yeah. So same thing here. The treating samsara is untreatable anyway. Suyong kong to ngayong suyong kong to ngayong mancho la tatamen cho le jin cho me. Dana zizam gada gomba. I'm on page Tibetan 10 and English 11. Truva me be mantra choose me yen learn rong jung rewa. Je madra me truva menjo in deva men zam sayang troma. Truva menjo jingwa yen men kashi nam da jal je chung lang zhan de ne hong zho ga da gong ba. Dharna landra yang bing ram ne rurve zar jing kunde je xiao yang xiao zar ni ne kunde yu ma nyong ni je zar le malam je xiao tong la me de rang re de ma lu nya yong ba chen por chang da chu yin ren bo jen zu len kunde yin le ma yu bra den be le de tang bo.
It is, so actually he read the whole page, right? Yeah. It is beyond the extremes of existence and non-existence, since no one has ever been confused at all in the past. No one is confused at present, and no one will be confused later on. This is the enlightened intent of the original purity of the three planes of conditioned existence. Since there is no confusion, nothing exists as some confused, unconfused state. Supreme, naturally occurring awareness is timelessly and spontaneously present. Since there never has been freedom, is no freedom, and never will be freedom. Nirvana is just a label, and there is no one who has ever known freedom. There will never be freedom, for there never has been bondage. Complete purity, like space, is free of being restricted or localized. This is the enlightened intent of the original purity of total freedom. In brief, within the ultimate womb of basic space, spacious and spontaneously present, whatever arises as the dynamic energy of its display, as samsara or nirvana, in the very moment of simply arising, has never known existence as samsara or nirvana. Whatever arises in a dream due to the dynamic energy of sleep does not actually exist. There is only self-knowing awareness, the blissful place of rest, extending infinitely as the supremely spacious state of spontaneous equalness. This is the first section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, demonstrating that samsara and nirvana by nature do not stray from basic space.
So maybe we can discuss one more question, and then today we stop here, and I think next Sunday we still have
2 sessions.
2 sessions. Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts? Any questions?
Khenpo, what do you suggest for this week? To meditate on this, to read it again, to contemplate? What do you suggest to do for our...
What to do?
Nothing, for our practice. Or the nothing.
I think we is supposedly Dzogchen practice is should not involve with concepts and terms and ideas. Yeah, that's the main point, and also efforts and those things. But of course, our best tool is to recitation and conceptualize and recite and conceptualize and to understand the meaning, at least in the conceptual.
Contemplate, you mean, maybe?
Yeah.
Recite and contemplate, or?
Yeah, sure.
Or, I didn't know if that's what you were trying to say, sorry.
Yeah, and also, of course, the 3 wisdoms that we often use, Toba, Samba, Gomba, yeah?
So, like reading or studying, contemplating and meditating?
So we need to get this gom to maybe turn. But in order to get there, we also need to understand what does that mean and how get there.
So we want to get to the non-conceptual meaning, but in order to get there, we kind of have to use concepts.
That's thing also kita jala yakshu segamare se. Dunya dan samno Korea dan teni patron bochegi. Zondo karsi tunda ha ko jongrong ma ko jongrong. Dornan de jingdan rong jula. Njarba cheba ina an kale tunda ha ko ne teni chinlap dan tendel tene tokbi hit. Kia yong gresong kan doya kitchen bor tene. Ta gom jap se tu zokchen rang gi gom lina kada chikyu gi gom sen tene ngone rikpa ngo tri ngon tru ne rikbi ngo chong ya tala. Ngo hi zara zo tenba top se ya tere ti nong ni jong tene zokchen tsik som ne dek sa tsik som ji ko ne tönjin ne la digbam tönjin ne la pokpa tönjin ne tela leba kiala tene tangbu ngo rong to to jeba sing do tene
Rangpo ngo
rong to to jeba ngo jeba te yong rangi to rangi ranghi rangi ngo tele jeba ma to hian chi yor su tra chiro rigala sokwa ta nong namshi sokji la sokwa tendre je rang ngo tel rang ngo
soup ja la sopa.
chiro rigyas that is diken too much chiro
Regja de latine.
je mara ngo je mara nong ina nga so namshi sokji sene namada make namshi nawi namshi tris mai ba rong rigbe ngo tel rang ngo treba tala ngo trebas ngo rang tot trees tene ta jik tot choose ngo tre shawa tala ta chu ne tala yiche je ne tala ta ja ta ma dere sambe jas tene ta me gi deng ta confidence te chorba ti tol tene leverage deng ti chorba ti tol levatal sixom ne dex be Garab dorji ki song patrorum boche ki tene garchian boche ta tapar te songyo
Garab dorji.
ne tanda patrorum boche song tendel tene garchian boche tapar asol te songyo ter so ke chembor ta so di to ne jokchen ge tawa tangkun ba ha ya boche ko song ena tene ringo chang tong te ngo chu ya bo top song ena tene zokchen gom se te kyagar te matayong ndemba tsamji gom chaya dan gomba tsamji hakaya te kali khaboyor ba
So essentially, you know, so we can read and kind of contemplate the meaning. That's probably sort of the best thing to do. And just as Patrul Rinpoche has said that, you know, even if there isn't, you know, whether we understand or don't understand, that by continually like reading the words and then like really kind of allowing them to enter into or penetrate the mind stream as you read, little by little, you know, due to the blessing of these words, then there is understanding that can eventually arise through reading and sort of reflection, holding the meaning, you know, as you can, just allowing it to kind of like saturate and really be sort of taken in as you read. And in brief, really, you know, the practice of Dzogchen really comes down to this very crucial point of recognition, sort of recognizing and understanding directly, you know, the nature of intrinsic awareness or Rigpa, So those three, that he mentioned, recognition. How did you translate the second one? Sal
Mohi Zalzo.
Salzo gare injikela
Dharmadhatu.
injikela salzo gare.
Mohi
No, injike. What is it in English? Salzo.
Zalzo and to mature.
To mature. Sorry. So recognition, maturation, and stability, right? So these three, and this is very connected with, for instance, the three words that strike the vital point. So this is also very important that, first, or the three lines that may be the sort of 3 points that strike the vital point, being that, first there is introduction. Upon introduction, one recognizes one's own true face. One is able to see and identify. And that can only be done through awareness recognizing itself. It isn't something that it can be dependent upon, for instance, like the conditions of, dependent upon objects such as, form, sound, taste, touch, smell. It also isn't something that is dependent upon like the 8 kind of collections of consciousness, or the inwardly, the functioning of the consciousnesses either. But it really is a matter of awareness recognizing itself. So it is through awareness that awareness is recognized, like, in other words, being introduced to your own face, right? Or, yeah. And so then the second is to really develop confidence in that. So, to definitively settle and think like 100%, this is it. I see it, I know it. And there is confidence in that. There is the belief or faith in that confidence, that recognition, or confidence in that recognition, And then third is stability, right? Developing so developing stability through that kind of deep confidence, having recognized and habituating that recognition again and again, coming back to that and stabilizing it. And so these are how it is expressed, for instance, in these 3 lines that strike the vital point by Garab Dorje. And specifically, for instance, Garchen Rinpoche always reads, Padro Rinpoche's explanation of this. And so that is really, what the real practice of Dzogchen is, that is based on recognition of the view, then, having full, habituation based on confidence in the view, habituating that view until you develop some stability. But apart from that, without that kind of real direct experience, recognition, realization, then it really, to try to meditate based on some conceptual understanding isn't going to lead to the actual kind of result that is what we speak of when we speak of Dzogchen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we realize there is a time, a linear time in real world. Yeah.
Okay. So we can go ahead and conclude there and recite the dedication on page 24 of the prayer book. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dagungpa Ratna Shri who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on Zoom and the few of us here in person. Drupal Rinpoche is out of town until April 24th. He's traveling to Arizona, but we're very fortunate to have Khenpo Rinpoche here teaching on the Treasury of the Dharmadhatu. And he'll continue next Sunday from 10 to 5. So if you can join us, that'd be wonderful. And if you'd like to make a donation to support these teachings, please visit our webpage at www.dnjus.org. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Gracias, Soldi. Buenas tardes a todos.
Oh, you're leaving. Okay, that's fine.
Lama, gracias, Soldi.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll send you the
link. I think I saw, or I at least, yeah. Anyway, send it to me again. Yeah, thank you. Yes. You said it just read it out. Sounds great. But you can go ahead and turn it off.
Yeah, just reverse, it doesn't matter.
Well, this is so precious. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much. Yes.
Really, I'm really worried sometimes. Say too much and doesn't have any meaning.
No, today was a little bit, it was funny. I mean, it was a little bit more challenging to say because of my own state of mind in the afternoon, but it is like, it's just so much blessing. It really is amazing.
It really is really good. Sometimes also I have feeling that sometimes doesn't come what I want to say. Sometimes.
Oh, in the Tibetan or no? Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you know, each day is different.
I feel that too.
Today is good.
You're feeling satisfied. Yeah. Good. And how it came out in English, you feel
Yeah,
satisfied.
it's definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very special. And I can't believe it's so weird. It's like so precious, and then we have like so few people, but that's probably how it is because it kind of like naturally not actually appropriated. Yeah.
Sometimes what they call
Also, it was announced on Thursday.
the secrets are natural secrets.
Yes.
And also secrecy works strangely.
Yes. Well, yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Right?
And we'll cut that.
Did you want to?
Just go out.
Yeah,
Somehow, suddenly I noticed I drink too much.
yellow and this one?
Well, the yellow sheet, maybe one of you can get the yellow one goes upstairs.
Okay.
Those two go
To the